My name is ABID DANISH bin ROSLI.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad HAZMAN bin HISHAM.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is NOOR ATIRAH binti GULCHARAN.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Kamaliah binti MANSOR.
Before we move into a deeper discussion about this topic, let's take a look at the definition of customer profitability analysis. Customer profitability analysis is a managerial accounting method that allows the business to determine the overall profit a customer generates. A profitable customer is someone who generates a revenue stream greater than the cost of the acquisition, selling, and also serving them. This analysis can be calculated on an individual customer level or for the entire group of the customer. Besides that, customer profitability analysis also allows the company to evaluate their customers and know how beneficial it is for them to keep or to let go the customer. But we have to know that the size of the customer is not directly proportionate to their profitability, which means that larger group of customers does not mean a larger profit. Next, we move on to see the objectives of customer profitability analysis. First one is to enable the company to determine how profitable their customers are by subtracting the acquisition cost from the revenue generated by each customer. Second, the company can determine the cost of acquiring and retaining the customers and can create strategies accordingly. Third is to determine which customers have the greatest potential positive impact so we can avoid unprofitable customers. And last, the company can cut down resources that is wasted on less profitable customers.
Alright, now let us take a look at the development of the customer profitability analysis technique and how it has evolved over the years. Before the introduction of this technique, management accounting systems often focus on products, departments, or geographic regions, but not on customers. And as a result of this, companies are often unable to produce reliable per customer profitability figures, which leads to keeping unprofitable customers, decreasing companies' potential to make profits. And here is where the customer profitability analysis comes into view in order for firms to overcome this issue and increase their profitability. However, at first, there are loopholes and difficulties faced by companies that try to use customer profitability analysis. For example, companies may not have the data capture systems to produce an accurate estimation of customer segmental revenues and costs. There are also practical difficulties in calculating costs attributable to each segment, and implementing the ABC, activity-based costing, is often challenging for many companies. Other than that, CPA may overlook the combinations of products or services purchased by customers. This is because customer profitability depends on the mix of products or services bought. The danger is that the analysis will be used on specific underperforming products or services, and it will overlook the impact of sales of other products to the customer. The good thing is that as years have passed on, many of these disadvantages have now been overcome due to recent developments in the customer profitability analysis technique. The first key development of CPA is the advances in information technology. This has allowed companies to improve the quality and quantity of information concerning customer profitability, including information on revenue, cost, retention, as well as lifetime value. Many companies now have sophisticated customer profitability models and customer databases. These can be designed for any type of business and could accommodate to different customer characteristics. Data can now be aggregated by the size of customer, size of order, service complexity, post-sale service requirements, locations, and as well as other factors. Information technology can provide detailed information and analysis on individual customers as well as groups of customers. Apart from that, customer profitability analysis has evolved into managing the overall value of customers. CPA now includes analyzing customer lifetime value and impact, as well as managing profitability through analysis of customer segments and margins. Customer lifetime value looks at the profitability of a customer over their lifetime, and customers have an impact on other customers, company employees, and other groups through their transactions and communications. For an example, they can refer other customers to company offerings.
I'll be explaining to you the reasons why customer profitability analysis is popularly adopted among corporations. Alright, customer profitability analysis allows the company to determine the profit generated from the customers. As you can see, when the companies is more focused on their products, departments, and also offices, they tend to lose their focus on the customers. As a result, the company may bear the cost to maintain or sustain the unprofitable customers, which is detrimental to the business. Customer profitability analysis allow the business to evaluate and know how much benefit for them to keep the customers. Based on this value, the customer can decide upon the cost of serving the customers or whether to continue or let them go. Based on the study, usually a large size customers turns out doesn't complement with the profitability of the company. So this means that the large size customers turns out to be unprofitable to the company.
So, every technique that is implemented is derived meticulously in order for a company can fully maximize their objective and application of those methods. Profitability is the end game for any businesses, and there are many ways for a company to increase their net margin. By using CPA, there are few benefits that we can obtain, which includes better retention of efforts, aid customization of retention strategies, optimize resources and reduces costs, and targeting the right market segment. The first benefit is better retention of efforts. So with CPA, you can divide your customers based on the customer segmentation, which is based on the value of each customer's generate. This segmentation, also known as RFM, which is recency, frequency, and monetary value. This allows you to concentrate on your effort where it may matter the most, which is the customer that is most profitable. Of course, you should not completely ignore the low value customer segment. Yet, when resources are scarce and operation costs are getting higher, it is wise to direct your attention towards the most profitable segment, which in the end, it could free up the company's resources. Second, aiding company with customization of retention strategies. Businesses can use their CPA to optimize the customer retention strategy for each market segment that they serve. For example, businesses may wish to spend more on providing top quality services and advantages to retain customers who offer higher rate of profitability. It is very important for a business to earn the loyalty of customers who generate the most profit for their business, even if that means raising the budget and increasing their expenses to retain those customers itself. Hence, the better the company understands the relationship between the marketing expenses, CPA, and customer retention, the more refined the company can be strategizing their marketing budget for each of their market segments and obtain higher profitability. Third benefit, which is optimizing resources and reduces costs. A crucial step in CPA is determining how much does the customer costing the company. A firm understanding their costs or expenses enables them to identify opportunity of cost maximization. For example, companies like Shopee offering free shipping in remote areas might find that those customers aren't so valuable itself, as they don't bring much revenue in. So they can optimize their costs by not covering the delivery anymore and offer other perks like discount or vouchers on their next purchase. Fourth benefit is targeting the right market segmentation. CPA helps to identify the most profitable customers. Knowing what market segments produce the most profit for the business allows the company to analyze that market to identify the key factors that contribute to its profitability. For example, once the company identified their most profitable markets, the marketing team can generate strategies to reach more potential customers that match the target demographic. Knowing the profit potential of serving a certain demographic can help the business to establish and obtain a marketing and customer retention budget easily and more efficiently. Moving on, despite the good reviews on the application of CPA, there are still a few limitations that a company faces upon applying the techniques, which includes 1. Assuming every product is the same, 2. Not taking into account all costs involved, 3. Calculating profitability in terms of customer instead of product, and 4. Selecting incorrect time frame. So the first limitation of CPA is that it assumes every product is the same. CPA requires to assume every product is different. One mistake often made is not accounting for the differences of the product itself. If a company assumes that all products are equal, it leads to varied impacts. In reality, customer profitability depends on the mixed product of the services accepted by the customer. Hence, the greatest drawback of CPA is that the analysis is used on a specific product and it may overlook the impact of the sales of other products that customers purchases. Second limitation is not taking into account all costs involved. Sometimes while calculating customer profitability, one might forget other costs involved, which includes indirect costs. It's easy to forget that all costs involved in the businesses due to the complexity of the business itself. If a company doesn't track these costs, it will reduce the overall profitability of the company. Next, calculating profitability in terms of customers instead of products. CPA can go wrong if profits are calculated against the customers itself. For example, while calculating customers' profitability analysis, one should not see how much profit was generated from one customer. Instead, the process needs to be measured as profit generated from the product itself. The product must be central focus of the profitability structure. It is because the product that is caused the expenses, not the customer itself. Last but not least is selecting incorrect time frame. The time frame needs to be long to enhance the result to see the overall profitability by the customers itself. If they include a very short time period, they cannot be sure if the customers underwent product adaptation or not. Besides, the cost of keeping a customer should be compared with the lifetime earnings and not only with the annual earnings attributable to the customers itself.
Alright, I will be explaining to you the process or steps that involve in implementing the customer profitability analysis. The general idea of customer profitability analysis is to segmentize the customer based on their segmentation, to know how much revenue and costs are attributable to them. Once the company can identify this customer section, they can know whether the customer is profitable or non-profitable. This can help the companies to maximize its profitable segment or to reduce or eliminate the non-profitable segment. There are 6 steps involved in this process. The first step is customer segmentation. Customer segmentation basically is dividing the customer into each group which have common characteristics, so the company can market to each group appropriately and effectively. There are 2 bases in approaching customer segmentation, which is demographic and also psychographic. Step 2 is revenue attributable to each segment. When the company have identified their customer segment, the company will calculate their annual revenue per segment. This depends on the company's product and services that they offer. Any adjustment made to the price for the customer to acquire the product will be taken into account, such as discount, service fees, and also enhancement fees. This is to calculate and recognize the true revenue for each customer. Step 3 is to use activity-based cost approach to determine and allocate all type of costs to each segment. ABC approach is an effective way to allocate all type of costs to the customers. The company will calculate annual cost per segment. This will include the product and services cost and also the customer cost. For example, costs such as overhead, marketing costs, and also distribution costs. By using ABC approach, the company can identify hidden costs such as quality control costs and also inspection costs. These costs, once recognized, they can be allocated and attributed to the customers. Step 4 is to analyze profitable versus less profitable customer segment. The company must identify its profitable customer segment. To identify this, the customer segment must have annual revenue exceed its annual cost. So, the profitability of each customer segment will vary from year to year. It will require the company an accurate analysis to determine its profitability for each customer segment. Step 5 is to develop strategies to maximize its profit from its profitable segments and also to reduce or eliminate from its non-profitable segments. For the profitable customer segments, the company can develop strategies to sustain a long customer relationship with the customers by providing a program such as loyalty programs. For the non-profitable customer segments, the company can use elimination strategy, which is the company can stop providing the products or services to the customers, and also they can stop the market of the product to the customers. The company can also use re-engineering strategy, which is they can re-engineer their product or services also or their strategy. This can turn the non-profitable customer segment into profitable segment. It is only possible when the company can reduce the cost attributable to the customer segment. And the last step is the company must review this new implementation of strategy to the performance of the customer segment. When the company implements this new strategy, it must review within an appropriate period so as to see whether this implementation of this new strategy have an impact to the customer profitability. According to the article that says about the implementation of customer profitability analysis in the industrial cleaning firm, this company have already entered into a market which is very saturated and have a very high competition. These have reduced their opportunity to increase their selling price. Therefore, added value service is very important to them as they can attract more customers. But the problem is, the cost is keep getting higher and higher and they have no attributable cost to allocate to the individual customers. So the company have tried to implement customer profitability analysis to counter this problem. They use 6 steps to implement customer profitability analysis inside their company. The company first step is to select the active customers. The company have identified its active customers from the end users and not from the wholesalers. They have analyzed the customer number of purchase per location to calculate the customer profitability. The second step is to design the customer profitability model. So, the company have to identify its main activities so they can know how much resources have been allocated to each activities. So, when the costs have been identified for each activities, they can be calculated and allocated to each individual customers. The company will use its own accounting management system to trace back all the costs that have been incurred. The third one is customer profitability calculation. So the company will use spreadsheet to calculate the cost and revenue for each customers. They will require a lot of document regarding the customer's information such as customers' consumption on resources, customers' ordering pattern, and also benefit or discount that have been given to them. So the company can segmentize their customers from this information, and also they can identify and eliminate any unnecessary benefit or overly discount to the customers. The company can standardize all costs attributable to the customer. Next, the step 4 is the interpretation of the analysis. Based on the analysis made by the company have analyzed that the top and large customers are the one who is non-profitable to the companies. This is because the top and large customers have used their bargaining power to reduce the product price, and this leads to the company to have lower margin. The next one is the top and large customers have demand the company to give more supply to them, which means that the company have to spend more support cost, which is twice as much than normal. Step 5 is to develop strategies. The company have decided not to eliminate its non-profitable customer segments, as they cannot afford to lose any customer at all. So they have decided to differentiate their services based on each customer segment. With this, they can focus on the sales profitability growth instead of sales growth only. The last step is the company establish an infrastructure. So the company have implement the customer profitability analysis bit by bit. So the first implementation is run as a project, and throughout the years, the company have formalized the procedures of using customer profitability analysis. This will help the company grow and make a more sophisticated analysis.
We will now move on to the application part of the CPA and see how actual company practices this technique and how it had gained benefit through the implementation of customer profitability analysis. The company that we will look into is A Insure Limited, which is an insurance company that have decided to use CPA to identify profitable and non-profitable customers after it grew concerned about the poor financial performance of one of its policy options. A Insure collected customer data through original policy proposal forms, which were stored electronically in a customer database. It was able to conduct a complex cross-correlation between known cost drivers and the demographic and other characteristics of policyholders. The cost drivers identified were, firstly, the commission payments to financial advisors who sold the policy, early surrender of the policy by the policyholder, changing of bank details and consequent chasing of missed premiums, and also responding to customer queries. The analysis identified that the policy was unprofitable when sold to recently retired clients, but was profitable when sold to other client segments. Recently retired customers had more time to review and consider changes to their insurance policies and to make queries. And in response, the company had reduced their agents' commissions on their policies according to the age of the policyholder to discourage them from selling to the non-profitable client segment. As a conclusion, we can see that customer profitability analysis had helped this company towards increasing productivity and growth of the company by utilizing its agents towards only the profitable customer segments. That is all from me. Thank you.
The technique developed can be improved to help a business grow, and customer profitability analysis is one of them. The most obvious idea to improve customer profitability is to properly determine the customer's target market, which is the most profitable customer group. Then, we can focus the resources to maximizing the revenue that is generated by this power group. However, don't mistake this idea for completely ignoring the less profitable customer segment, as they also become profitable by lowering the costs associated with these segments. Besides that, there is a need to measure the pertinent data. Management will need to focus on what estimates that is needed. Current decisions can immediately incur costs that the business will not realize for years to come. Estimates must be able to foresee these costs. Future profitability analysis will have to take into account multiple time horizons. For instance, a customer that is unprofitable through the next 3 years might become enormously profitable 5 years from now, which could lead to the first point, which is the less profitable customer segment. This is due to the customer demands are changing based on the society that we are in. The truth is, customer profitability analysis cannot be improved with a few tweaks only. It must be adapted and evolved within the organization's mindset and attitude toward the customers. After all, the customer experience is the current currency and what separates leaders from followers. The success depends on how you treat and engage with the company's customer before, during, and after the sales. That being the case, it is time to align the sales, marketing, and customer experience departments with the new mindset of customer centricity, otherwise the whole process will fail. As a conclusion, we can say that customer profitability analysis is an absorbing and valuable metric to consider when we are structuring our sales, marketing, and service efforts, which deals with the sales revenue and cost that is generated by the customers. As companies realize the potential benefits of measuring customer profitability, many opportunities will open up. Through customer profitability analysis, the customer retention rates will be improved. This tool also will bring a wealth of new information to the firm that uses it for the first time. At this point, there is little evidence of its widespread use and actual implementation in the industrial firms. Nevertheless, customer profitability analysis can be a useful tool to re-examine the business strategies and also to allocate the right resources to serve the right customers in order to avoid any unprofitable customers. So that is all from us.